Will be 5 maps. If you've made it to this point as a team, you have earned a minimum of $1,000 as a squad. That money will increase as placement does. And well, we got Joewo on your screen, so congratulations to the remaining 9 teams here as they will now begin to duke it out. $7,000 for first place. There is a lot on the line, and Joewo's team certainly a contender to take that top spot.
Absolutely, and I think the biggest thing as we get into now 5 lobbies instead of 3 is how much does the game plan change, if at all? I think for the teams that finished in the top 3 of their group, they're probably thinking, let's just do exactly what we had done before. But the consideration that's going to be different now that you're kind of meshing both of the groups is, well, the team that won from Group A, were they playing in the same positions off the drop that we were playing from Group B? Like, are we going to be challenged in a different way than we expected from our first 3 lobbies? There's going to be some early feeling out here, and then I think placements are going to mean more, maybe more so than kills will be, now that you've got the luxury of 5 total lobbies. So I think consistency of getting to the final moments of the game is going to be pretty huge.
Oh, and this is Swish's team getting collapsed on. Aydan and co have been mowing them down. You've got the sniper up top providing those call-outs, the initial down on Swish as they tag those tents to break their way through. Just a really solid play overall from a start from Aydan's team. Now, going to have to be a little bit careful. Sweet's backing off, and Aydan looking to figure out at least one person on top prison, maybe taking some pot shots at them. But if you can start with some early kills like this, you're certainly going to be quite happy, unless you get smacked in the face.
Yeah, it's the risk of playing on top of the water tower. There's nowhere to hide. Once someone sees that sniper glint, you are out in the open with only the bit of cover that maybe occurs off of the backside or sides of the water tower itself. But a little blindsided there. So Danny will take that on the chin and then have to just resurge her way back in. And as we get on Juki's team, this is, I think, probably one of the highest overall individual kills that we had seen. Aydan, of course, had 10 plus, but Hisaka was right behind him in one of those lobbies from Group A. So we'll see what kind of kill potential they have now that the best of the groups have met.
And while he wasn't able to connect with that shot from up top, doesn't matter. He was able to at least get the down, but a nice series of kills. That own gun working well here for Breadman and co, as they'll be happy to pick up that cash and all those beautiful goodies they get from when you take down an opponent. And well, spots another one right as he lands. Not quite enough time to connect with the shot, but knows that there's going to be multiple players that they can begin to push toward. So that's certainly something you're going to be happy about. And well, this is a great spot to be in if you're funneling players up that staircase, get some initial shots in, can't connect with anything more than that, similar to what we just saw from Breadman, but still not a bad position to be in unless, well, you have that sniper glint from the top of the tower, able to break the armor, but can he get away to safety? Just barely. That stim can sometimes make or break whether you stay alive.
He's up there. He's like up here, right here.
Oh, and look at Mutax. He's just going to gatekeep to make sure that this player topside is just not really able to do too much of anything. Looks like Destroy is in a position to try to challenge this as well. So here's the commitment. Oh man, this is so nerve-wracking from Mutax. You had to hope that Destroy's done enough to pull focus away. Here's the chow, and maybe actually Destroy already finished the kill. Yeah, it looks that way actually. So not bad. You get the clearance you want, but what next here? Still have 9 teams, still in the first circle, early days. Let to go here in this first day of the grand finals.
This is map 1 of 5, so a little more breathing room for all these teams. If you have a favorite, guys, let us know if there's a team here in these final 9 that you want to see take it home, take that $7,000 prize for day 1 of the NYSL Warzonemania 3. Let us know. Put it in chat. Who are you supporting here? And, well, M-Sage already with 3 kills. Joewo will go down, but looks like he should be able to get at least a couple kills. That, again, was Miss Sweets, who initial call out solid, as you said, after the kind of getting taken down at the top of that tower, having a rough go of it since then. But M-Sage will be able to get out alive, although his priority is going to be to find plates, as he does not have any in reserve, but he's also happy to gatekeep players that are stuck in the storm. Another comes in. Can he connect, though? No, and those plates might have been the difference between him being downed and getting a down himself. Now we swing over back to Breadman, knows that that person's still up in that tower with control of top prison. They could do some good work here, unless, well, everyone underneath them starts to die.
Yeah, I really like this positioning from Breadman's team. They're going to be kind of following up behind Mutex's squad as they kind of alleviate themselves outside of tower and then in towards headquarters. There's an opportunity to stay on this high ground for a pretty extended amount of time because there is still so much surrounding area around this circle zone that is going to essentially be out of play. So your ability to really collect on kills while you're still in the resurgence timer part of this map is going to be a really advantageous piece of timing here for Breadman's team, in my opinion. So we'll see what they could do as they try to rotate in, and we take a look over with Biffle and the rest of the FaZe guys as they're trying to make their way from the low ground and see if they can maybe wiggle their way into the zone as it starts to close in.
What a great spot Mutex has. Just so many call-outs and the crossfire from the rest of this team. Not only are they pinning this poor player down at the top of the building, but they know where everyone else is rotating. Jesus, a little bit of trouble there as the downs come in, but you still have the ability to get them back up. So understandable. Mutex says, you know what, if there's nades coming into here, it's one of the dangers of being at the top of that sniper nest. Yes, you can get the shots, you have the view and the call outs, but one nade up there and suddenly you can be downed with no recourse. Wise of him to back off while his team redeploys.
And the thing too that you have to consider if you're going to be playing for placement here, which could be very valuable, the deeper over towards the western side of this island you can get, the better. As far as early positioning is concerned, if you can find some of the buildings in the back around the stronghold kind of armory area, you'll be in a really good position to hopefully guarantee at least top 5. The biggest thing about it, though, is if you go too far towards the back of the map, you may have to rotate back over towards this kind of area we're in right here in headquarters, or you just may be so far outside the bounds, you're not actually going to be able to part of any of these kills that are still very healthy because we're still able to freely revive in. So I think that this positioning just outside of headquarters, kind of in between that and the armory, is actually probably the best real estate available as soon as the second circle closes and it puts the top of the prison yard kind of out of play.
Z Smith, one of our favorite players to watch during this event, with 7 kills and a very solid amount. But keep in mind, right, despite all the carnage we've seen so far, everyone's still in the lobby. There's still 9 teams. About 27 players left. As I say that, a number of them die, but really it's going to be at this point here as the start of the next circle close begins where it's going to get really scary. I think you're going to start to see a lot of people begin to fall off, but Z Smith there now sitting at 9, just 1 away from double digits. We've seen a few people hit it so far, and I imagine he probably will too, and this is why we talk about, hey, those snipers, and Rational was doing it. Breadman can do it too, able to get those shots in, fly forward with the Owen and convert those into kills.
Wow.
Nice shots. Nice downs, nice 7 kills for Breadman.
That is an unbelievable transfer from Breadman. After finishing off of the damage he had connected with the sniper rifle to immediately go long range and barely miss a shot. Unbelievable stuff. Fire sale in play. Still, respawns are available for all of our players. But the question will be, as you continue to go deeper and deeper onto this kind of peninsular part of the island, how far do you want to connect? Like, you have to feel like at a certain point, even if the circle continues to pull deeper to the west side of the map, it very well likely will come back by the end. So do you want to still try to play on this backside, this eastern edge that we're seeing Aydan and co try to do? If you do, I mean, you've got a little bit of real estate to work with here, but any further forward you have to go puts you out in the open. So it's kind of a difficult decision of, do we commit to rotating or do we commit to playing on the outside? And as we can kind of tell on the minimap, Aydan's team is actually doing a little bit of both. You've got 2 players that are deeper, and then Smith and Aydan are kind of playing on the outside. I kind of like this layering.
Yeah, it's going to give you so much information. Just the unfortunate thing is Aydan's experiencing right now is you now have at least 3 people who are shooting at you. You have nowhere to go. When this circle continues to close, you're going to be in an extremely tough spot. So unless he has some sort of a stim to just zip away, he does have at least 2 to utilize. You don't have anyone there to support you unless your team is willing to collapse on these people, which they might not be in a position to do so. But for the time being, Aydan, he's going to be okay, but not for too much longer as he just starts to wiggle away from this storm creeping in. Unfortunately, not a lot of room to go, but does see multiple people running into the buildings here. He had spotted them earlier, but hey, I was about to say, no one's shooting at him. He should be okay, but as I say that, he gets taken down.
Yeah, that's the risk right there. I mean, there just barely was not enough space on that little ridge line for him to hold. And that's the good news, I would say, about that layering that we were talking about. You still have 2 members that are deeper onto the inside of this play, and you still have the ability in the next 10 seconds to earn yourself a free respawn. So it's a play that makes sense. If you can survive from that position, you're in a great overall spot. But I believe it was Breadman's team that was able to find the kill. So now they're in a position over towards these kind of barracks areas to maybe even kind of freely rotate in, because I mean, look at the UAV that they just popped. None of the red circles are in front of them. They're all playing on the deep side of this island, and we have all 9 teams still, Katie. That number is going to fall very quickly now that the respawns are disabled, but that's still pretty impressive that we've gotten to this point and all of our teams are still at least populating the lobby.
And Breadman just torturing all the poor people trying to float their way back in, breaks a number of armor, and we swing back over. Hey, here's a team that managed to sneak their way into 4th after a tough map 1 and 2 of the Group B qualifier. But hey, they're here, and that's what matters. Huskerrs is getting some nice shots in, breaking the armor, trying to watch over Unrational, somehow keep him alive, and well, he's gonna have to try and save the day now, and looks for one, connects with the hip fire, knows that there's gonna be additional pressure for him, but will try and get this revive off, and for good reason, because that redeploy is disabled, and Huskerrs does not want to be all on his own, especially when there's so many teams and so many more people to kill.
And they're not done yet. You've got to go so far to rotate from that position. So as Aydan was able to respawn back in, he kind of still works towards the eastern side of the map. Plenty of plates, but obviously being contested. 21 total players. And, there's so much good information right here. Aydan's going to have the jump on a player on the low ground, right around kind of the bottom side of where Danny and the rest of his team is kind of presiding. But the thing about this is, I was going to say, there's still so many buildings to work with. I wouldn't be surprised if teams are just kind of huddled up in little corners and behind doors in places while they wait for this circle to force them out.
And, well, Super Evan, I don't think he's having the most fun right now. Does have 4 kills. Good news.
He's in trouble.
But everyone's dead. And hey, at least he can make it 5, but unfortunately now you got the storm in your back. And hey, good news, you converted Oak Boy into a kill. That'll be huge for you. Bad news, you went out without a lot of placement, if any, in that multiplier for them. But now we swing back to Breadman's team. Those UAVs coming in clutch, but look at where that circle is pulling. That is going to get scary if you're a team trapped down low.
The thing about this, though, they may be one of the only full groups of 4 that are still alive, and they're playing from multiple points. So the ability for them to capture on these individual kills that are nearby is actually really possible. Huskerrs, difficult play. Can he actually stretch this in time to get in? He will, but that will be the end. The player's just all over the place. He did secure top 5, though. So as we get to our final couple of squads, we're looking for the 1.7 times multiplier that will start as soon as we get to our top 3.
Keep in mind, this is going to be Joewo's team making up almost 50% of the lobby at this point. 9 players remaining. They are 4 of them. 3 other teams. So if they play this well, they get the communication. Maybe don't get a little too gung-ho here toward the end. They should have it in the bag. And you can see backs off, waits for that final plate, doesn't give that player his position until he's ready to engage. And now Winterella's just looking to try and play her life as much as she can and doing a decent job. You're now into that 3rd place spot, but you are in a 1v5, and well, as those kills come in, unfortunately for her, that is where her run will end. And now it is a 3v1. Breadman breaking that double-digit mark, sitting at 11. They spot him out in the storm, the down, the kills, and that is going to be a 31-kill game. They are here to play.
Yeah, I'll say. And it all starts back to when we had kind of watched Aydan be trapped up top by that little ridge line.
Teams are playing out. We said it already. Joewo's team with 31 kills in the 1st place finish puts them at a nice and cozy 62. Mind you, the best overall score in 3 maps we've seen today was 102. And they're already more than halfway there. Swagg's team behind them at 20 kills with 35. Aydan and Unrational rounding out your top 4 with Texas team, J-Device, zlaner there toward the bottom. But again, there's 5 maps. Anything can happen. Let's go ahead and get into the game. Again, guys, one more time as we get into map 2. It is a Coinbase milestone. Put your Coinbase names into chat for a chance to win.
Gotta do it. Gotta have it. And I will say, if we see more of what we just got from Joewo, you got to remember that they won their group with 101 points. They've nearly already bested that in what could just be a lobby and a half. Like, they could throw together some of the best Rebirth tallies that we've seen since this has been kind of the competitive focus for the Warzone community. So once again, it's that same kind of quote-unquote slow start, but I really do like the way that they're handling it. You get your loadout guaranteed every single time, and then once you start to feel out where the fighting is happening, whether that's by the overall gunshots you hear or a UAV, you decide where you want to rotate to potentially be a third-party threat. So I think it's working out really nicely for him. And then, of course, through the mid-game before we deal with the final resurgent respawns, they've been in great positions almost every single time.
And the Bren, a few updates, not quite as popular as it used to be, but when you can grab that off rip and you can mount it, it's going to do a heck of a lot of damage and able to get a re-down onto this player. But, well, you got to be careful. All those pesky grenades, if you're fast enough to lob one back, then good for you. But at least for the time being, Aydan looking to convert that into at least one kill. Now we swing over to the team sitting in 4th place. Smixy is downed. Huskerrs going to fly in and try and figure out exactly where this person is. Just houses like this can be so dangerous, Shift, because of all the different locations and corners that people can hide in. So he's taking a moment here in the bathroom to just wait, see if someone pushes up that staircase, try and convert that into his first kill, as well as Unrational looks to figure out exactly where he can land without getting beamed out of the sky.
You would love to land closest to the loadout as possible, that much is for sure, but obviously we don't really know exactly how he had fallen, rather, or where exactly those players were positioned, so it could be contested. And Huskerrs is also in a bit of trouble here. Yeah, you see Unrational, he falls in and immediately dies, so that loadout drop must be contested by a different squad. And this is that time and point where I would say you gotta come back over and get into a spot. And, oh, actually, wait a second. Look at this play from Aydan. This is right after he had gotten the down, as you'd mentioned with the Bren. He's able to turn that into a recontest. But, oh, no! To fall damage. No.
Look, not to be outdone by Scummin breaking his ankles on live broadcast, Aydan said, I want to do this too. And not only that, I want to die. So that, look, not the smoothest we've ever seen, but hey, sometimes your parachute doesn't redeploy when you want it to if you're too close to a building. That's always a tough scene to see, but if you can turn around and start converting it into kills as we take a look at what they're doing, not too shabby.
Yeah, and I love this call. UAV is active. Use it. Get quick. Use the stim shots. Follow up on as many individual kills as possible. So you've got an isolated player here. Knight will find the easy kill. And then you saw the blips were a little bit further out towards the eastern side of the prison block as well. So maybe an opportunity to kind of re-wrap around the back here and maybe start to get yourself closer towards the middle of the map to try to get more eliminations here early to match what exactly Joewo's team was putting together in that first lobby.
Broke that one on orange.
Swing over, Breadman, no surprise that you're going to find him up on that water tower once again, sniper in hand, gets the down on the Z-laner, trying to connect with something in that nade, not able to do so. M-Sage getting downed in the process, but again, guys, the person you're looking at right now, this is the team in first place in the final. They had a 31 kill first place game in map 1. Breadman able to get at least 1 kill here, but not converting too many of these into additional kills. Although use of the sniper here, Shift, I don't mind if he's getting those initial downs or breaking those armors with the snipe, and then he has teammates ready to follow up and convert the kills.
Exactly.
I don't mind that, but still, at the end of the day, I sit there and I'm like, is this objectionably going to be better than having that AR with the scope?
You know, I took this battle with Unrational, and he made me look silly, so I'm going to let Breadman just do Breadman things at this point. And, you know, here's the thing, too, is it's not just can you confirm your own down, but with as much chaos as currently unfolding on the map, especially with Prison likely being a main focus point with this next circle being established, you know, can you walk up and be able to help your teammate when they need it? Because, you know, as we get into the conversation of it, it's kind of unfolding. You've got both of your teammates currently down waiting for a revive off of the game, and at this point, you're kind of hitting the pause button. You really can't do anything besides wait for your teammates to get back.
And that's tough. Doesn't see Destroy or entering right as he did. And unfortunately, I think that was actually Oakboy who took him out. So a bit tough there down in showers. But we swing back to Winterella's and Co. Juki's team all alive and well. And really, there's got to be no worse point, I feel like, in these games than when you're immediately coming back from the redeploy. And you have to imagine, you look down and you just see everyone staring up at you, ready to try and take those pot shots. But now here's Juki's, the man himself, doing his American tour, having some nice 2v2s, having some fun there with that stream as he traipses across America. And here's Unrational, able to this time jump down and get his loadout. We'll see if he can stay alive, and really not particularly close. He does have Huskerrs somewhat nearby, but they don't seem to be following that stacking rhythm at all. They seem to be very content to kind of just do their own thing separately.
Yeah, I think this is still an okay time to be doing that. It's once we start to see the timer pop up when it comes to no more resurgence redeploys, that's when you have to start considering what we want to do positionally. At the moment, if you feel like you can land back in, get your loadout, get a couple extra plates, and then go back to the fight that you previously lost and kind of regain and get your own trade, so to speak, then why not? Get those extra kills for now. But I still have to say, as far as how the rotations across the map have been going for Breadman and Joe, they have looked really good on what exactly they want to do across the map. They're putting themselves in great positions across the circle. Joe's just going to hang out over here, as this very well could be the pull. And look at all of the real estate he has to work with when it comes to looking back towards where all these other teams are going to have to fall off the prison block on. So I like that he's kind of keeping this area, at least in some way, contested. And they have something they can fall back to if you do fall and have to kind of revive yourself back in to look for a drop location.
And we swung away from Joewo right as he saw someone through the window there as he went to vault through. So we'll see if he ended up making it out of that situation alive. And, well, the answer seems to be yes. Now sitting at 5 kills. Nice cleanup from him. This is where we saw someone get killed just a little bit ago. So now sitting at 5 again. So far seeming like a very solid game for them. We do have one team fully eliminated and potential for another team as we see a couple of those overall players tick down. But with a fire sale, if you're lucky enough to get to some of these buy stations, I imagine we'll see that number creep back up as it is right now. Now sitting at about 26 players in this lobby. But Joewo's team, you get those self-revives. You're sitting pretty. He does have support nearby if he needs it. So far, so good.
Yeah, it's literally, I think, a perfect situation for them. You've got yourself fully kitted out at exactly the right time. Minute 15 till no more of those natural redeploys will occur. You've already gotten a lot of opening kills, and as mentioned, they already cleared out that space just to the north of the prison block. So if you wanted to use that as your point of rotation to get into these final circles, you feel like that should probably be open for you to do. So we'll see what exactly the call will be, as they're going to group up and actually try to re-clear prison with all the information they get off the UAV. So many individual red blips means that there's an opportunity to really collect a lot more kills as we start to get into the final moments.
They're going to have to be careful as well in these final engagements over the next about 40 seconds, because once Circle 3 closes, so too will that redeploy. And the last thing you want to do is get into a gunfight right after that closes and put your team into a tough position. Now, zlaner's team trying to work their way across top prison, and unfortunately teammates falling around them. zlaner just trying to stay alive. Spots one in the sky, trying to beam him down, connects with the shots, but neither of them actually able to convert that into a kill. You don't see that very often, but zlaner still staying alive, has about 30 seconds more to wait before his full team is back, but every kill will reduce that deficit, and also sitting at 7. So a couple players here doing good work with these snipers.
That kill was massive for Z. He had no plates, no ammunition. So the fact that he's able to hit the scope and then immediately follow up with the SMG afterwards to collect the kill and then collect some much needed resources, huge for his implications on trying to stay alive. Aydan at a top position still, looking for players to rotate over towards tents. And once more, I still go back to that, what is Breadman's team doing on this rotation? Because they know that they've got the bottom side of the map, pardon me, the top side of the map completely open to them. And that would lead to a very good rotation to get into this circle, which is pulling very aggressively compared to where the last one was.
Nice spot by Aydan. Catches Oakboy out in the open and punishes him for it. A nice job there. And we swing back over to Juki's team. Hisoka does have a bounty on him for a little bit longer. They spot one out in the distance. And all these people that he's seeing right now, you know Aydan more than likely is seeing them as well, and Aydan more than likely has a better angle to take them. So unfortunately, if you're Hisoka, you know that there's certain kills you're just not going to be able to convert. We swing back over on Rational with 3 kills to his name, and unfortunately throws out a nade, but only he ends up getting down. We'll try and get that self-revive off before he gets taken down in the storm. We'll see if he can survive, and unfortunately, no. As a player walks up the stairs and ends his life for the time being. This is what we talked about, right? You get into those risky gunfights right as you have that redeploy close, and suddenly you're stuck in a 2v13 situation. Scummin and Smixy, you're going to see what they can do.
What they're going to do here is just hold these crossfires and hope that they can survive to the top 5. That's kind of, I think, the only goal that they could put together at the moment, realistically speaking. 15 seconds. This zone is going to make life absolutely hell for Uncivil, but here's the real point of contest is what's happening on the outside, because these two are just going to be holding this crossfire to wait for someone to cross into their line of sight, which honestly speaking, they may actually be able to reward themselves with a free kill here if they're very patient.
Well, in big news, despite a solid start for Breadman's team, they've been eliminated from map 2.
Wow.
And yeah, they either have an extremely small multiplier or none at all at this point, depending on where they were eliminated. Good news, hey, you had 62 points going into map 2, so you'll be just fine. But still, they could have racked up 2 back-to-back excellent maps, and this one, unfortunately, will not be it. Juki's nice use of that utility to give himself some time to plate up. Smixy here in a bit of a pickle, trying to get some pot shots in, but unfortunately can't really find them through the gas, and Smixy and Scummin will end up falling. Z-Smith and Knight, though, looking to maybe be that third party for the team that just took them out if they weren't the ones themselves who did.
That's not bad, though, for a last 2 members alive to go from top 7 to top 3. That is great news. But here we go back over to Juki's POV. Not going to be able to get out of the gas. Ahsoka, the last one, I believe, who is left, but this is the team that's in the controlling positions. You have a really good idea on where this last player is. They have to come through the smoke, and wait a second, actually. Trouble here. Smith needs to actually replay. He's likely going to lose his teammate, but can Ahsoka even get in? No, that's a die to gas, I want to say. So second place finish, a big win there for Z-Smith and co. And honestly, there's a couple of huge clutches for a number of different teams that finished inside the top 5. Most specifically, you have to think about the Smixy surviving to top 3 position. That's going to be massive for their multiplying of what was a pretty solid game for them by all intents and purposes.
And that was Z-Smith with 12 kills as well. Sometimes in the end, if you can't see him, you don't want to risk it when you're in a 1v1.
Yeah.
Just run away and they'll die in the storm. So congratulations, a really nice win for them, Shift. And we'll see exactly how those leaderboards shift themselves. Again, we know Joewo's team did have some kills, but depending on what happened, who knows? Take a look at the standings and, well, Joewo's team, they were in first going into map 2, but they will be down at second place with 80 points. Team Aydan taking first place. Both of them tied at kills, 49 apiece, but it all comes down to those placement points. 87 points so far. For Aydan's team, Swagg and Juki's rounding out the top 4, and Rational right behind them, just 2-point difference. And really, it starts to feel like maybe 1st through 5th are feeling solid, but it's going to be those 6th through 9th teams, especially 7th to 9th, that you're going to need to start picking it up very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a little bit of hustle and bustle here if you want to get into the mix, because yeah, the gap is getting very wide very, very quickly, and it could just eventually turn into a runaway for at least the top 2 teams, where they're just going to be competing with themselves for a chance at the $7,000 that's going to be earned for our first place team here. So yeah, great stuff from those top 2, but absolutely you're right here, Katie. If you find yourself in the bottom 4, you have to have a big game 3, game 4 coming up.
And keep in mind as well, guys, as all of these teams are jockeying to get into the money, well, they're all in the money. If you even come in last place, you're still taking home $1,000 as a squad. But as they juggle to try and take that first place, you too, as viewers, have a chance to win money with our, of course, Coinbase giveaway.